Story 1. Sleeping less for success. Sleeping less and hustling more can lead to burnout, health issues, and impaired cognitive function. Sleep is essential for mental health and the well-being of a person. Story 2. The advice I see on Reddit about asking for an itemized receipt is incomplete. Asking for an itemized receipt does not automatically drop the total cost. Instead, asking for an itemized receipt allows you to identify line items that don't make sense, don't apply to you, or weren't rendered. For instance, I was charged a materials delivery fee as part of a home renovation project, even though I transported all the materials to my home myself. Since the service was not rendered, I got that cost removed from my total, but I had to first identify it manually and draw attention to it. It didn't just automatically go away when I asked for the itemized receipt. Story 3. I saw one the other day that said if you were lost in an unfamiliar location needing rescue and your battery is about to die, change your voicemail to include your approximate location. Then people who call will be able to determine where you are after listening to the voicemail. Things that are very wrong with this advice. Asterisk, many people can go days without getting a phone call. Asterisk, if you don't answer the phone, most people probably won't listen to the voicemail greeting. What you should do, if possible, is send one of your contacts your approximate location. Global Positioning System coordinates work. And always call 911. Story 4. Multitasking makes you more productive. Actually, multitasking tends to make you worse at everything you are trying to do. You end up scattered, doing a mediocre job on each thing instead of really focusing and excelling at one task. If you need to get stuff done, block out distractions and tackle things one at a time. Story 5. I always see people on Reddit say that coworkers are not friends and to not develop friendships with them. Why? That's literally the worst advice I've seen parroted here. Like, don't be inappropriate in front of them, but developing friendly relationships with the people you see for a quarter of your life is normal and not problematic. Story 6. I used to sell mattresses and commonly had customers who believed that the harder their mattress, the better it was for them. Untrue. If you lie down and you're comfortable, then it's a good mattress. You don't need to sleep on a slab of stone for health benefits. Also, it's a pain, but turning your mattress every now and then is good for its long-term health. Story 7. That nonsense about how we've all been opening bananas wrong because we don't do it upside down like chimps. It literally doesn't matter. The banana opens easily the way I do it, and I'm going to keep doing it that way. Story 8. Any kind of cleanse diet or item, your body already does that. Colonics, shakes, fasts, etc. Don't cleanse anything better than what your actual biology can do. Story 9. The idea that drinking cold water burns calories comes from the fact that your body uses energy to heat the water to body temperature, but the amount is minimal, around 8 calories per glass. Story 10. Mix vinegar and bicarbonate in a spray bottle for the most effective cleaner. Enjoy cleaning with salt water. The effective part is the reaction of mixing the two, not the resultant solution. Story 11. The whole freeze a wet sponge for an ice pack that won't drip is wrong on every level. If the sponge is saturated, it will absolutely drip as it melts. If it was only damp, it won't drip so much, but it also won't have much thermal mass and thus won't deliver much cold. Either way, it will be a stiff rectangle that won't conform to the body part you need chilled. Many things make much better ice packs, including the classic ice cubes in a plastic bag. Story 12. Freezing hard drives is risky. It is better to use professional services. Lemon juice as sunscreen is a bad idea. Use real sunscreen. Coffee to sober up is just a myth. Only time works. Story 13. Do not mix bleach with anything. I don't care what cleaning tip you found. Bleach mixed with another substance is more often than not deadly, such as vinegar. The mix makes chlorine gas. For the love of God, just don't mix bleach if you don't know what you're doing. Story 14. Resetting your sleep schedule by staying up 24 hours and sleeping early at a decent time the following day. The window for you to fall asleep in this method is so small that it will do more harm than good. The actual way to reset your sleep schedule is much harder and a little more methodical. Story 15. Don't let a person with a concussion fall asleep. New research shows that apparently the brain heals faster with sleep. If you have been checked out by a doctor, most of them recommend sleep and lots of it. Story 16. One that comes to mind is the idea that you can store your coffee in the freezer for freshness. Freezing can actually change the flavor and texture of the coffee. It is best to keep it in an airtight container in a cool, dark place. Story 17. Not all cars have detachable headrests, and there are different types of glass used in cars, so you need to check which glass is actually breakable on your specific vehicle. My car has a manufacturer's stamp on the corner of every piece of glass labeling it. For modern cars, laminated glass is used for the windshield and typically the front windows, as it is very strong. Tempered glass is used on the rear and is easier to break. Please don't assume you have an escape route should you need to break a window in an emergency, only to be left trying to break through your windshield with a headrest. Story 18. Repeating constantly, leave your comfort zone. Not everyone wants to leave it, and some people work very hard to have a safe space and comfort. Some people just want to settle, and it's fair. Story 19. Dressing like security or maintenance to gain access to restricted areas of events and venues could endanger the safety of others if an actual emergency occurred. Story 20. When people suggest going for a walk or working out to combat depression because you don't need medication, you just need to clear your head. Depression and anxiety are all in your head. No kidding, it's in my head. That's why I take medication. Story 21. Sometimes you should ignore how you feel. Recognizing and validating your emotions is a great skill, but sometimes, often even, that should be a pretty quick process before we say to ourselves, okay, and what is next on my to-do list for today? Let's move on from this. Story 22. Don't dry your shoes with heat. Only ever use the air dry setting. You will thank me when your shoes aren't tighter and rubbing. Just like jeans, shoes are made from unshrunk fabric and will shrink in the dryer on a heat setting. Story 23. One tip I've seen a few times is when shopping online, add items to your cart but don't check out. Supposedly, the site will offer you a discount if you leave it there for a day or two. I have never had this happen to me. Story 24. That whole idea of asking your doctor to put it in your chart and then they'll do whatever you want is not accurate. I'm a doctor. Just know, the chart is simply a record of what we did to bill insurance for during the appointment. If your request doesn't align with your symptoms, we are within our rights to deny it. Considering the chart isn't for negative diagnostic loops, we don't have to note that our patient asked for unrelated medicine, tests, or anything else. That won't get you any resolution unless your doctor was already inclined to please people from the start. Story 25. Here are some commonly recommended life hacks that are actually bad. 1. Multitasking for productivity lowers focus and efficiency. Fake it till you make it can lead to mistakes and stress. Waking up at 5 a.m. guarantees success. Productivity depends on managing energy, not just waking up early. Cutting sleep to get more done reduces cognitive function and harms health. Cold showers for motivation, not a magic fix for focus or energy. Story 26. Leidenfrost effect for stainless steel pans causes more problems than it solves if all the posts complaining about how people keep burning their food are anything to go by. Story 27. Of love. Those who deserve it the least need it the most. No, if they deserve it the least, it is because they are narcissistic individuals who should grow up and learn to treat other people with respect. Story 28. One that comes to mind is the classic, put your phone in rice to fix water damage. It is often suggested, but it does not really help and can cause more problems. Also, the just drink more water advice for every ailment can be a bit much too. Story 29. It's okay to wipe your eyeglasses with your shirt, toilet paper, or paper towels. Know that this can still scratch the lenses, and you should use the cloth that came with your glasses instead. Story 30. Don't worry, the right person will come when you least expect them to. Just join a class, a new hobby, an online dating site, and so on. You're sure to meet the one someday. My poor flatmate has been waiting for 13 years, done everything possible, and followed advice from all sorts of people. She's bitter about not having the chance to have a child because she was waiting for the one. Now she says she should have done it on her own, if only she had listened to her intuition. Story 31. Don't study more than 6 hours a day. It's not productive after that. You just need to work smarter, not harder. Sorry, but I work smart and also need to put my head down for sometimes up to 12 hours a day, including 10-minute breaks every hour because I want top grades. I love to immerse myself in my work, and being at my desk for around 12 hours can be extremely productive for me. Believe it or not, yes, you can still have incredible focus even at 10 hours in. So it's not a waste. I wish I had listened to my own advice sooner and not the general study advice of don't go longer than 6 hours. It's bad and you don't get anything efficiently done after that. You also won't remember anything after that. No, do whatever you want and what is beneficial for you and your goals. Just make sure you stretch every hour, have meals at appropriate times, drink water consistently, do quick exercise in the morning, and get plenty of sleep. That's it, and then you can do whatever amount of work you want for the day. My big dream requires big effort. Story 32. Any food hack that wants you to get sugar boiling hot and then spin it with a whisk in the air to make strings or says it will turn into fairy floss or something similar. You will burn yourself, and getting it off your skin is difficult because it's sugar. And they always aim it at good teenagers. How to Cook That on YouTube has a lot of the food-related ones and explains why they're dangerous or don't work. Story 33. Putting baking soda down your drain will not unblock it. It doesn't work. I'm a plumber, and it will make it harder to clear the waste or drain, resulting in a higher charge. Story 34. There's tons of help available. Just call this hotline and they will set you up with what you need. Can only help. Tell people what's going on. Your friends will listen. No, they will not. Can and will absolutely hurt you worse. Find another way. Story 35. This might be a hot take, but I think the feel your feelings sentiment goes too far sometimes. Of course, it's so important to acknowledge how you feel and not judge yourself for having real, valid emotions. That said, I think sitting with your feelings for too long can become harmful too. I had been allowing myself to cry and be sad about a breakup, but feeling better needs new experiences and not dwelling on the bad feelings too long.